Welcome to the table. Welcome to the grown folks table. We're so excited that you have pulled up to the table tonight. Are you all ready for some grown folks conversation?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'm so excited to be at the table with my sisters, but we have to just bring it to the table on our pet peeves. I don't know about you, but a couple of weeks ago, Monique was all over social media because she pretty much dropped a PSA in her bathrobe about bonnets and pajamas. And I think it broke the internet because she was talking about it being a pet peeve of hers in seeing women in public in their pajamas and in their bonnets. And so for me, I could identify when I heard it. I thought it was hilarious because that's what, believe it or not, that's one of my pet peeves too. But so today we're just talking about pet peeves, what we don't like to see, what gets on our nerves, what gives us that little when we see it, you know. So talk about it. What do y'all think? What did you all think when you heard about Monique's comment about bonnets and pajamas?
Oh, you know what? I was right on with her. You know, I mean, come on. There's as my grandmama would say, there's a time and a place. You know, for for everything. And I think you know, having on PJs in an airport is not the place, nor is it the time, because you're going through an airport obviously to travel somewhere. And so when I saw her, when I heard it, I'm like, well, go ahead on, Monique. I'm with you. Now, I was a little concerned when she was sitting in her robe, you know. I'm like, now, if you're gonna be talking about somebody, I'm gonna need you to be, you know, set up and ready too. But you know, I'm also for each his own, but I'm also one that feels that people have to be respectable, you know, when they can. And I feel like, you know, in a public place, in an airport, in a store, in wherever I've seen this, because you see it quite often in various places, then you know somebody wasn't raised. You know what I'm saying? Somebody wasn't raised. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think. What about in the grocery store? She mentioned in the airport. You okay with seeing PJs in Walmart, Publix, or Target?
Well, it depends on what PJs, because there are PJs that don't look like PJs.
Mm-hmm.
I have some. So you know, they're making stuff now to where you would not even know they're PJs because of the Gen Z pop generation. So it's a look. Some things you may see people have on, and you may not even know they're PJs. But my issue, I would say, is yeah, the bonnet is not cool, but the problem is, like you said, it's in her delivery, and I think in her, you know, trying to talk about it, and she's sitting there, you know, in a robe doing it. It doesn't make, and knowing what the backdrop is with her, and people are not necessarily that happy with her right now. I think we have to remember that, you know, people are not very happy with her. So in that sense, you know, you just don't need to be giving advice and you're not coming to the table looking right. Because it is going to not, people are not going to be able to receive it, but it just goes to show that we have to be careful about how we present ourselves and things that we do. Because when we do want to have that serious moment, when we do want to have that conversation to be able to talk to people, women, to encourage them and all of that, they may not be receptive because we have not done so well in our own presentation. Because people don't agree with a lot of things that she has done, and they don't think she's made great decisions or she made a great call. So I think too, what she should have said, I don't think you can say that people are not queens because they're in a bonnet, you know, that queens don't wear bonnets. I don't think that that's proper either. I think if it were me saying it, I would say, it's better for us to not be in gear that is meant to be for bedroom. And that could be a whole lot of things. Mm-hmm. And I would say, bonnets are probably not, my thing to wear in public. Here's what it looks like to people. And I know we're in this era where we are free. We don't care what people think, and all this kind of stuff. But some things we probably should leave at home.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't know that.
But Vicky, let's see what Vicky thinks about it.
Well, Vicky, here's the thing. Monique put it out there, and she put it out there about bonnets and pajamas in public places. Mm-hmm. So tell me, are you wearing your bonnet to Publix?
I know that's a joke, right? I'm sorry, ladies. And a part of it has to deal with, sometimes it's generational differences on what is acceptable. I'm too old school about that. I think bonnets and I have one. I sleep in it. I never wear it out in public. If you catch me in a bonnet, then I'm having a serious senior moment, and you should call for somebody to come and help me, because that's just not my norm. And I've been seeing the slippers for quite a while. The slippers, and now they dress them up with a lot of fuzz and a lot of fur and the bling. And but a slipper is a slipper, and so. No matter how fancy it look, I don't think it's appropriate. And as for Monique, and I did see that, and I think Libby was saying this. I guess I have I might be biased about anything that Monique might say, and a lot of it has to do with Monique is so raw and raunchy, and when it's kind of like I look at Monique is, how can the pot call the kettle black? Because she is I think she does and says and presents in very unprofessional way.
Yeah, she just kind of messes up the being able to tell anybody anything at this point.
Well, I think she could have done okay if she was dressed in a suit. If she stepped out in her suit in that moment and said, "Ladies, this is not the season for us to come out in public with our bonnets and pajamas." Now, I'm gonna tell you, I have been in the grocery store and I have seen some skeptical outfits, and I have been very confused about that individual having friends and when was that person raised. Like, I've seen the whole, what's the thing you buy the kids, and sometimes we have them too, because I got a pair where you step in and you zip it up. What is it called, Libby? It's the top and the bottoms is connected. It's
onesies.
The onesies. Yeah. Why are you wearing a onesie pajama set and it got a tail on it in the grocery store? I mean, just plum foolery. I don't understand, And then another young lady had on a leotard. Now, she didn't look like she was on her way to nobody's recital. All right. She had on a leotard. A straight up leotard. Do you hear what I said?
You better talk in your southern tongue.
Leotard. So I'm so confused. I'm old school too. About a presentation. And so I have 2 kids. And so I know what it's like to rush out of the house and be in the car. And the kids be like, "Mom, you going to take that off?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." Because, I don't want nobody to see me, with my bonnet on or anything like that. So I know what that's like. But you just going to the grocery store, like you in college. Now, when we was in college, hey, you pull a picture out at me in college, you may have found me in a pair of pajama pants and a t-shirt. Back in the day, that's what we thought we were supposed to do when we was 18 and 19. But 40, 30, 20.
Listen, I was in heels in college, so
Yes, you was, boo. Talk
Yeah.
about it. Yes,
I
you
wore
was.
heels in college, so
Yes, you
I've been wearing
was.
heels since high school. This hence is
Yes,
why I can't
yes,
hardly
you
wear heels
was.
now.
Wore too many of them.
It was way too soon, way too early.
But then, who do you feel like you were taught from? Like the women that I was around growing up. You know, they didn't have to say anything. You could just look at them and know that there was some class, you know, about them. And then too, had I tried that, then I would have had a mama and about 4 aunts that would have just go into me. So I think, you know, I think it's just they don't have that person enough in their lives to sort of help guide them through it. And I know it's a generation, and I know there's a difference in me and them, but yet there still need to be somebody to say, no, that don't
now
do that.
what about these men and these underwear? Now, you know, I'm about sick of it. Now, before you can just see the brim, you know, like if they had on Hanes or if they had on Polo, you know, you just saw the brim of it. But I done seen a pure backside.
Me too.
Where the pants was down to the knees. I mean, pure backside.
Yeah. But I think it's the same thing. I mean, no man is there to say, boy, if you don't pull them pants up.
Wait.
My son was
Joyce. It ain't just boys.
Yeah, like my 25-year-old tried to pull that, you know, on me and Jay, and he was and we went in. We went in. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, boy. You know, please. What are you trying to say? Whatever it is, it's not what you need to say. And I've noticed him lately, you know, with his pants up. But mine tried to play that. But and that's what I'm saying. There's no one in a lot of their lives who are saying that. If a guy is coming to be with go on a date with a woman, that woman isn't going to say to him, pull his pants up. They're not going to do it. And that's the problem. No one is saying anything other than, you know, grown table talks right here. You know, we'll say something.
The truth of the matter, it really is a different generation. My baby brother and my nephew who lives here with me, they wear their pants like that. Every day is pull your pants up. Don't wear your pants like that. They didn't get it from nobody in this family. It is generational, where they do not care about what you think is appropriate. They don't care about what we think is appropriate. What they care about is what they think is appropriate for them. And that's what is happening with the bonnets, the pajamas, and everything. It's not about all the time. Joyce, you're right. There are occasions, you're right, that they're not getting it from people. But it really is, and y'all know, I would not be the person that would allow nobody to do that. But when you get past a certain age, I can only say it so much. You're going to still do what you want to do when you want. Now, if I say it, they pull them up, coming out. Pull them up, come in the house. You know, back in the day, it was take your hat off when you come in the house. Take your hat off when you come in the house. And then that generation came that didn't believe nothing about taking a hat off when you come in the house, and did not take the hat off. But if they are respectable people, if you tell them, I've told people in the street, listen, pull up your pants, baby. Yes, ma'am. Pulling up, but that don't mean tomorrow or later on that day, because it is acceptable wardrobe. Wearing your clothes backwards, crisscross, was acceptable wardrobes, and there were parents who they could not stand it, but there was a disdain for it. Same as church, when you wore skirt above the knee. Oh God, you know, people about to have a heart attack. Or pants in church. If you in the choir and you got pants, oh my God, you have they ended up having a heart attack, about to fall out and die. I remember when I went into to the board of examiners for AME, I remember there was one pastor that, and I had pants on, and that was taboo because folk were around with the skirt to the ankle, honey. We were coming through our institute. Here I was. I made a split on the side. Ain't me coming, Jack. But that was not. He was not a fan of it. He was disgusted.
But underwear though, Libby.
No, I'm not saying it's acceptable. What I'm saying is, every generation has a thing, and this generation has it. And the truth be told, they can care less whether you think it's uncouth,
right,
or you think it's not. It doesn't look right. Where you think the image, really just sets us back. They can, like I said, I have one that just walked out the door just about 5 minutes ago. And I'm like,
if I could say this, Libby, and I'm thinking, just because the emerging generation has a thing does not make it right.
Oh, sure.
And I think, like Joyce said, she said, my 25-year-old son tried it. And our children tried it, whatever that thing was. And we got a 19-year-old, soon to be 20-year-old grandson, and he gets tired of hearing, pull your pants up. So while you get tired of saying it, that's what it is. With children, I learned this many years ago, having been an educator for many years. The whole goal of children is wear parents out, right? Wear you down. They keep asking you the same thing. They're like, if I ask her in the morning, if I ask her at night, they're going to give me in. If I ask her, after she's been out, get her in a good frame of mind, that's the goal. So the generation wants to wear us down while we say, that's just who they are. I don't believe that either a standard needs to be maintained in a society that says this is not acceptable and you should not embrace it. Now, that doesn't mean you can only control who you can control. However, I'm like you, Libby. I have said that to strangers who I don't know, I'm not related to, because I consider myself a mother. I consider myself an elder. And if I see something, it's like, kids were coming up on the stage to get their diplomas in graduation this year with gum. I mean, it's like, you're getting a picture taken. This is a keepsake for you. Stop chewing that gum. So I'm old school like that. And maybe a lot of people are not like that anymore, but I just think we have to keep the standard.
Well, I think what it is, it's a measuring rod. There's a measuring rod that we have from a certain raising, from a certain generation, and from a certain reputation and image that we want to put out. That measuring rod just does not exist. It doesn't give them a pass. The only thing it does is say that we can set whatever standards we want. But this is a generation in the world now where standards, they don't stick. Because the truth of the matter is what's driving image and what's driving measuring rod is social media. We didn't have to contend with that. So we don't have to contend with what's the latest trend. What is the latest thing that they're doing on TikTok? We didn't have to contend with any of this stuff. I got a TikTok account and I don't even have nobody follow me. I just got to see what the hell is going on. I got a 15-year-old niece and I needs to know, and they know my nieces, I got more than one, two, well, three, I'm really 15, but I call them the teenagers because, I know what that means. So, and you can't get too much over me because whatever, I think you did everything. Right. I already said you did it. That's a thing that, and I hope people don't get crazy when I say this. Everybody getting a whooping. I say that every day to them. Every day. Everybody getting a whooping. They're like, for what? It don't matter. There's something you thought about doing. I know you did. So, and I said it to say that measuring rod is not there.
Yeah.
Like I said, my nephew, my baby brother was not brought up in any of that. None of that. But they 30-something years old.
But
you know what the hell I'm talking about?
You know what, Libby, and it's really disheartening to me while how the voice of the elders have been silenced. I believe that.
Yeah, no more elders.
And the voice of the elders, it's silent because, and I've said this many times. I've said it on this show. Parents have abdicated their responsibilities to raise their children, and that's why TikTok raises them. That's why Facebook raises them. That's why Instagram. And so parents don't set the standard that is, as for me and my house, this is what we're going to do.
But you don't have that same age gap that we had before, Vicki.
But my parents, even skip my parents, because they really were the father knows best, leave it to Beaver. and that's the generation, the Bonanza. We looked at Westerns. That's why I love them. They made us look at them. And I love myself some Bonanza, Big Valley. I mean, I just veg out on it. But Rob and I remember with the kids, and the rap music came out when my children were growing up, right? And I'll never forget it. My son and I shared a car. He was the first driver. And so we laid down the rules. Son, don't have any of this music. I promise you, we laid down the rules. If you have the music, it's going to affect your privileges. So we get in the car, and back then there was the insert the tape, in the tape player. And I'm turning the music on, and that stuff is all over the place. I promise you, we rolled down the window, threw them out the window, driving down the street. I know it was littering, but we said, and my son was like blown. He said, "What are you doing? What did we tell you?
Mhm.
You're not having it." Now, he still doesn't agree with it. He's a parent now, and he thinks we really was, crazy over the top. But you know what, Libby? If we had it to do again, I know we would do the same thing.
Yeah,
We were hell bent on getting on a standard, and so my kids really, and my oldest is 44, and there's never a meal that I don't fix that my kids, before I can get it on that table. Thank you, Mom. Because my husband, when they were little kids, he said, "Thank your mother." Thank your mother. And so it's in there right now. Now, I don't think my kids are perfect. That is not what I'm saying. I'm clueless as to what they do when we're not there. But I suspect, but it can't be because they weren't taught it. So we maintain that. And that's what I want to implore parents to come back. Come back.
But the parents.
That's what I was saying. That's what I remember growing up, and when my mother's aunts would come to town, we would just look forward to the aunties coming to town and hanging out with them and being with them and listening to them. Now, we were only given so many minutes to be in the presence, but when we were there, we enjoyed that. I think the difference is now these youngins, they don't value that group of people, because I have to tell my 25-year-old all the time, boy, if you don't call your grandma, go back to your grandma. We just got you this truck. You better drive to Athens and see. I'm constantly, and I know he loves her. I know he loves her dearly, but they just don't, just like, oh, let me go see grandma, and or let me be around the aunts and, those kinds of things where we learned a lot, during that time where they are not seeing our worth, they're not seeing the worth, and they're not getting the same value that we got, not just from our parents, but from our extended family or even the street. You nut up on the street, then everybody on the street knew they could get you. So you just didn't have to wait to get home.
Yes.
Miss Burt, Miss Georgia, they got you too. So it's and now, living in communities that some of us live in, we drive up in our garages, we let them suckers down, and we don't go out no more. We don't have too much interaction with people. And so that's what's spilling over in these kids. Whereas back in the day, you knew everybody from 4 streets over. You know, 5 streets over. You knew the community.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So,
but you know what? What is it called, Joyce? We subdivided. Okay. Subdivided ourselves into our communities, and where all you do is wave.
You
just wave to the neighbors on the way in, on the way out.
You wave on the way out.
You do that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, when I was a little girl, so I was before we moved when I was 10 from one community. So I was somewhere about 8. And my mom was at the store, left the neighbor in charge. My neighbor is on the porch, old lady named Miss Shug. And so my mom said we could stay outside playing, but Miss Shug was charged with just watching, make sure they don't go on the street. So, girl, somebody came by and threw a cigarette down. I thought I was behind the tree, pick up that cigarette. So I'm behind a big tree and I'm smoking. And she saw that smoke come. She said, "Your mama gonna tell you." She said, "Get your butt in here." And as soon as mama got back, Miss Shug gave her a full report.
Yes, she did.
Got my butt beat, and I didn't pick up a cigarette again. I'm just saying the neighbors were empowered to correct.
Yeah,
now,
that was Miss Georgia.
We're afraid. We're afraid. Everybody's afraid to say things to other people's children.
There are no more elders.
Yes.
People are close in age. Parents are living their best life. Parents are amongst the TikTok, Instagram, Facebook generation. And so parents are had children young. They're very close. It wasn't the same back in the day when you had kids young, because you had that older grandmother that helped with the raising. The grandmothers and the mothers are close in age. And then the children, like for instance, you got folk that I know that's 20-something years old, and their mama is my age.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. My line sister has kids, 20-something years old that just had a child, and you see what I'm saying? So 40-something years old, and with a 20-something year old that just had a child, everybody is still quote unquote living their best life.
Yes.
So the elder generation is no longer there.
Yes.
They're just no longer there. Then you have the whole generational quote unquote curse issue, where we have, the situation where the parents are not present. So the kids are raising themselves on the street, and the streets are teaching them how to be men and how to be women. And that's all that they know. And they having children, and they're teaching their children what they know. So everybody's a product of that raising. And we no longer have elders. That's why you can walk it to the store and you can have a young man come out and won't hold the door. It's not necessarily being disrespectful. They don't know to hold.
They just don't know any better.
And I think that's my largest pet peeve. I feel like that the bonnet and pajama wearers and the underwear people are ruining the brand of African Americans. Like, when other cultures see us, they don't think about us suited and booted. They don't think about Libby in her heels walking across the yard. They see, Bumquisha with the bonnet, and the pajamas and the house shoes. They don't see us that way. And it's because, like you said, we did not provide this etiquette, class to say this is how you carry yourself. You're representing more than just you. You're representing a lineage of people that have paved the way for you to be in this space, educational wise, whatever. We are people. African Americans are people of pride, and that's what you should wear at all times. And I think we've gotten away from that.
Well, you can't give what you don't know. You can't give what you don't know. And I say that from a person who grew up in a very rough space and still lives in the Grant Park, Peopletown area where it's hybrid. And you cannot give what you do not know. It sounds okay for the four of us sitting here talking about it because we know, but to those people, if you ever talk to them, because I know them, they don't know what the hell you talking about. You're making no sense to them because they didn't get that.
Yeah.
Their mama came out the house like that. Their grandmama came out the house like that. Now, that's the problem I have, Monique. Because whether it's right or wrong in whatever your measuring rod is, that's okay. But we have to learn to understand in order to bring people to a certain point that we have to go to where they are. So, sitting in the comfort of our homes and where we know better and we have the class to know better and we have the etiquette to know better and on the podcast can say what should be better, but we don't sit with them and we don't know. And so that's the thing. That's
well, for me, I provide etiquette programs.
But it's not a program.
It's teaching, it's cultivating and teaching. That's one of the things that I like to do. I always take multiple projects. I don't take people that are already perfect, that come from a perfect background. One of the girls that I worked with, she had in her house 12 kids and she was the oldest. And I was like, yeah, and her mom worked all the time.
Yeah.
And she was missing school. Her grades were like 20s, 30s. It was horrible. I walked around to all of her teachers, explained what was going on in her class, and I said, we got to help her. I helped her sign up to go to the military because I thought she could have something better for her life, So, and my husband is from the worst projects in Atlanta. Vacay, of course, they tore him down. So I totally get that there's a culture and a climate of people that were not introduced to a certain level of etiquette, and that we can't necessarily, shoot them down on every part. But some things are just basics. Your panties and your bra, that's just basic.
But again, it's basic.
I'll give you the bonnet.
But I'm saying, but again,
I'll give you the bonnet. But I can't give you panties and bras and underwear in public. That's why they call.
We're not saying it's right. What I'm saying to you is, I'm not saying it's right. What I'm saying to you is, you can't say what you can give them if you are not them. I think it's disrespectful, and I say that from a place of love, because I was a person that told people like me didn't go to college. I believe that. That's what I believed. And to say I will give you is not, in my opinion, proper. What should be said is that we shouldn't do this, but how do we let people like that know that they are better than the bra in public, that they're better than the panties in public, that they're better than wearing certain things because they can have a different image, and it's okay to have that different image, and that's what you have to do. Because,
but I have to disagree on the fact that African Americans, we're not all lumped in this one big place. But my mom, she's from the country. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have a whole lot of city. I mean, country. Go out and wash your stuff in the sink and put it out there on the line. Okay, my father as well. So I mean, their upbringing was very country and simple. You go out there, dirt road, everything. But still, I think there is just that basic. Their undergarments, they should remain undergarments. We just can't get away with the fact that these young people are choosing.
Not when Fashion Nova making them for you to wear a dress out in the club. Not when Fashion Nova is one of the number one retailers out there for clothing. Not if that's what people wear every day, all day. Have you been on Fashion Nova?
No, I hadn't been on.
And then they want to belong. I mean, they're doing everything
It's
that they
what they're
can
trending.
so they can belong,
Yeah.
and or in this case, so they can get the likes. And then the thing is, they gotta know how genuine you are. I'll never
That's it.
forget. I was going during, it was during Black History Month, and I went to a boys and girls club in a pretty rough area. And so I was talking, and the young ladies were just, you know, doing their thing. And I was like, so are you not interested, or blah, 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 blah. And they said to me, oh, you just coming in here to talk about, you know, all of your accolades. Well, they didn't say accolades, but all the good stuff you've been doing. And we won't see you anymore.
Yeah.
And so they challenged me. And I ended up saying, okay, all right, you'll see me once a week. How about that? And out of that group of young ladies, to this day, 4 or 5 of them are still friends of mine. I have seen them through their lives. I have chastised them on some of the choices that they've made. And we're talking 30 something years. So, you know, I think when we start wanting to help make the change, we have to help them understand that this is real. That this is true. I'm just not saying it because I'm in a better place. I'm saying it because I want you in a better place. And believe me when I say it. And I think that's what has happened in a lot of cases. These folks just don't believe people who have gained some success in their lives are genuine.
You know, Joyce, I think, and
they used to being talked down to.
Yes.
I think we've said the answer, because you know what we do, and we've been talking about the challenge, right? But the challenge has to be presented with an answer. That you both have said answers. Pastor E said, I take girls under my wing. I teach them a standard. I show them a better way. That's answer. Joyce, you went in and you said, I'm not going to tell you the answer. I'm going to be the answer.
I'm not going to leave you like everybody else did.
If we don't reach back, God help us. God help us. You know, if we don't reach back and try to help some come up that rough road, may God have mercy upon this society, you all, because, you know, and I know we've got things that we're discussing, but I am just looking at a man goes into a grocery store and a girl just politely says, can you pull your mask up? That's it.
That's what I'm saying.
Didn't cuss him out. Didn't, you know, snap on him. With that simple gesture, that simple thing cost her life.
But that's what I'm saying. That's ultimately I'm saying it's the way that we present it to a certain group of people.
Yes.
You cannot, you have to meet them where they are to be able to get them to respond. Otherwise, you're gonna be whole and in a fight. That's it. You're gonna be whole and in a fight. You trying to tell somebody that them wearing a bonnet, pant, and bra is taking the black folk back. They about to cuss you to Gibraltar. and your mama, your children, everybody, they about to cuss all y'all. Because they don't care nothing about bringing black people back, because for them, they ain't been nowhere.
Right.
So you got to approach, and that was my thing with Monique. You talking to a generation that A, has no respect for you. B, you in a role, and C, you telling them they're not queens. They don't care nothing about that, because nobody's ever called them a queen. First of all, we got to make them understand what that means.
Yep.
Then you can talk about the damn bonnet.
Well, that's where you heard it tonight, right here at the Grown Folks.
And I got on my Fashion Nova pants, just so you know, E.
Oh, she's gonna get up and show us. Okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks for sharing, Libby, and give us the insight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight at the Grown Folks Table. Please make sure you subscribe to our Facebook page, all of our podcast subscriptions. We're all over all of them. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.